Success comes in how we overcome those things. The mindset is, I'm in an industry where things never go my way, and man, I love it because I'm going to find a way around it. I'm going to find a way to make it go good. I'm going to find a way to help someone, and they may not even like me at this stage, or they may not, recognize it, or it's an employee, whatever it may be. That's got to be the first step to a mindset. And I think that comes down to embracing challenges.
There is so much value in that story, Matt, of the muskox. And as you're talking about that, it was percolating some feelings in me. And then I started relating the circle, the outside, with comfort and discomfort, right? Comfort can be found where? Inside the circle.
Inside the circle.
Inside the circle. Yet where we grow, I'm not suggesting we don't grow in the circle. We do, certainly. But if we simply stay in this comfort zone and we don't wander out past the circle to at least start exploring and touching and feeling and seeing and doing, we will never experience the discomfort that is required for growth. And in this industry, I just see too many people get paralyzed staying inside the comfort and the confines of what they do know, rather than saying, Matt, what should I be doing? What do I need to be doing? And that crap is the stuff that I don't want to do. I don't like. Why? Because it's uncomfortable. And it forces me to say, oxes, I love musk ox. I think you said musk ox. I love you. I'm going to go out on my own. And the first time I'll go 20 feet. And if I see a wolf, I'll run back. The next time I'll go 50 feet, right? And the length of this that we can go out as we learn, and now we're out a quarter mile, and now we move all the way across the country. I don't know. I wonder if you think, does that have any correlation to success? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's a version of this in everything that we do, and I think what you're saying is relatable to lots of aspects of our life. I kind of want to focus. Is where our listeners are sitting there saying, okay, well, how is this applicable? Going back to attitude and perspective, help us make good choices when hard things happen.
What do you mean, Matt? What do you mean with that?
Yeah, so a fundamental belief I have is I know that there's some bad people out there. I get it, and it's true. But my day-to-day, the environment that I feel blessed to be in, I'm around a lot of good people. And good people don't just hurt your feelings. They're not out there to hurt your feelings. People in general are just hurt. And when they're hurt, they act out. And so as I interact with people, I've learned you can't take things personally because you don't know their side of the story. And even if you know them very well, you don't even know emotionally where they're at that moment. And so giving everyone the benefit of the doubt as you're working with them and trying to see what they're saying, and you can kind of put yourself in their spot of where they're coming from, that's an interpersonal skill that brings joy. It brings happiness. It takes a hard day and makes it easy. Because if you can sit there and look at someone and seeing like them being tense up and frustrated and almost perceived to be mad at you or mad at the world, and they say something sharply that's super offensive, if your mindset is this is a good person having a bad day, then all of a sudden you look at them with love, and you're like, you look at them at caring about them, and you don't take the comment so offensive. Instead, you just kind of want to work through the situation with the individual. And so that's a mindset component of, like, as you work with people, my general mindset is that everyone I meet with is good, wonderful people. Now, there's another part that happens. When I believe they're good, wonderful people, I treat them well. And man, you know what happens? You want to be love other people more. Mm-hmm. And I talk to my kids about this. Any listener, I'd want to have this. If I could give one gift of my joy that I have, it is I am way more concerned on letting people know I love them than needing to be loved. The irony is I can't love people enough for the amount of love that I receive back. And I see people that like kind of know that, they try it, and they just don't have enough faith to make it actually work. They kind of go a day or two or three, and then they give up, and no one ever pays attention to me, and blows up, and you go inside, and your life goes horrible again. And these little tiny skills of fundamental belief people are good, and then number two is I'm going to love everyone that I come because these are good people and they deserve to be loved well. You take those two components and you can learn a lot now about any situation you run into, because almost any situation that we deal with are interpersonal situations. Someone's done you wrong for something. There's a competitor. There's a client that said no. There is government things that aren't going to let you work this way. There's taxes that aren't working. There's a company that ripped you off because they didn't say what they're going to do. And all of a sudden, you start taking the good from the people and saying, these poor decisions are determining who they are. They're bad people. And I'm surrounded by bad, horrible people that aren't any good, and you just start falling apart. But if you can overcome that and believe in everyone in every situation, even a company, it's kind of bad, but I can see where they're coming from, but we'll work through it. When you start talking and people can hear that you feel that way, they want you to win. Companies, our carriers that we work with that rip off our clients and send the wrong form out and do this and do that, if you go in there screaming your head off and yelling at them, you're out. They know. It's a great way to be known. And they're not going to want to work with you. But you go in there, I understand, okay, how can we make this work? Our client, not my client, our client, how can we help them? And you start working through these interpersonal situations. All of a sudden, every business move, every decision you're making, you're viewing with that lens. And so everything can be overcome because people you love, people you care about, you want them to win. And so you're cheering them on. And in the process, the weirdest thing happened. They cheer you on. You don't even know you want that. And all of a sudden, you're like, I can't let them down. They love me. They're cheering me on. I'm going to do this too. And that optimism cycle just spins and spins and spins and spins and spins. And if you do it long enough, you've built up a lot of goodwill.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, you're in this world of goodwill where all of a sudden people are like, everything goes his way. Everything always, I hear that a lot in my life. And I'm thinking, no, not really, but man, I got a lot of people that love me. Man, I do have a lot of people that love me.
Let's talk about the lens that you refer to, because I've spent a lot of time there. There's an old quote that I want to sum it up by, and then I'll illustrate that. What you focus on, you move towards. And I'm going to say that again. What you focus on, you move towards. And has anybody that's listening as a little child learned how to ride a bike, and then you're like, oh, there's a rock on the road. I'm riding towards the rock. There's the rock. And you're like, I hope I don't hit the rock. And bam, sure enough, now you're like flipping over your bike and tumbling. Because where were your eyes? Your eyes were focused on the rock is where you steer. Another illustration, number 2, when you go to take a motorcycle riding class and they teach you how to turn through a corner, they don't teach you to look straight in front of you. They teach you to look through the corner. Where your eyes are, your body will naturally follow. It's the same in our mind. And I think it's so intriguing because we'll hear people that say things like this, and this is not meant facetiously, but it's like, man, I'm trying to date people and I just keep dating the same people and they're just not the right people. Or we have people that talk about problems all the time. I have this going wrong and this problem and this problem. And you know what? What we focus on, we move towards. If we're focusing on problems, we're going to get more problems. If we're focusing on the same type of person we're dating, we're going to get more of that in our life. Conversely, if we focus on love that Matt is talking about, or we focus on abundance, or we focus on gratitude, or whatever the case may be, we will move closer to that and we will start attracting that in our lives. But it starts here. And our thoughts eventually become our words. And when we can start speaking them, our words will become action. And when we can consistently do an action over a long period of time, we will have results. And so what Matt's referring to in his life about the results that everybody's saying, well, it just seems like your life is easier, that you just keep getting this or whatever. It has been a repetitive, consistent discipline Matt has taught himself to think differently, to speak differently, to attract differently, but to invoke action on it, ultimately culminating in the result of whatever people are seeing. Does that make sense?
No, I think it's spot on. If I was listening to myself during that talk, I would probably be like, well, that seems kind of naive. There are bad people out there. They're going to screw you. There are bad companies. And I've ran into them. And I've learned the hard way. You want to trust everyone and expect everyone to be good. And you soon learn in the knocks of real life that if you have that kind of naive mentality, that it can hurt you. And I've had it business-wise really hurt me.